Security, escort this gentleman out, please.
Come on, Soda Pop, let's go.
Hello, Sioux Falls. My name is Andre Hernandez. I live 3 blocks west of the City Hall on 9th Street, and I'm on the boundary line of Pettigrew Heights and Cathedral, the neighborhoods. So my topic talk will be about them 2 neighborhoods. I have 2 photos here. One.
Sir, could you remove your hat, please?
Thank you. Sorry.
It's all right. You're doing good,
Okay.
Andre. You're doing good.
One has recently been a pile of dirt or rock, I'm not for sure what it is, been put in front of my residence where I live as of last week. This is going on the 2nd week. There's another photo this is on 100 South Duluth. The other one is in between 6th and 8th Street on Spring Street, which is Cathedral area, and that one's been there for 4 weeks. That one, the one started bothering me was the one when it came in front of my residence, because I couldn't park in front of my residence because on the other side of the street I would get a city ticket because of the signs that are there indicating about parking. So I've went to 2 people to gain information on my intel, and one was OSHA. They indicated to address the city, or otherwise, they said they would just come and shut people down. So the second one was like my insurance agent in case I got in a wreck or accident. He would indicate you wouldn't pay no deductible. We would go after and do the research, So this is like a safety prevention. I'm not here for anything or after anyone or change anyone's job. This is just for me as being a resident of Sioux Falls. It looks like it's on a city street, Duluth and Spring Street. If that's a city property, I don't know. I don't work for the city, so I'm not for sure. This is just like prevention, safety. In other states, we have builders here, local builders that are subcontracting to other states. They're coming in and they're looking at this like, well, this is easy. This ain't. There's no rules. We don't have to tape off or put signs up, or at nighttime you can't even see this. There's no flashing light. You can run right into it. I hope it don't happen. I pray not. But in other states, someone would come. Some worker would come with a yes or no box and start issuing fines for revenue for the city. I don't know. I'm not trying to knock anyone, any contractor or any city council, but it's for the safety. It's not to shut anyone down. I'm just trying to prevent accidents or anyone, for me not to get hurt neither. I give it to the state troopers, the highway patrol. They would double your fines. They go in a construction zone. We have nice city new police motorcycles and ATVs. I pray we get police on horses, but we should use them. Double the fines in the speed zones. There's a lot of road rage here. I've been out and for an example, my intel, I go to rental car. Place, Enterprise, and I'll get a rental car with an out-of-state plate, do the speed limit, and I hear this, that, whatever. So the city cops, I just pray and ask for, laws to be enforced, and things are happening. I hear a lot of opinions about where I live. They say, that's a bad area or whatever, but I choose to live there because there's a need, and I'm a missionary, and I go to 37 states. The easiest place for me to do missions and ministry is New York City. This is the toughest. I'm from Kansas, and I choose to live here because of the needs and to prevent and help out Sioux Falls. So hopefully we could work together. Jobs, somebody can do a better job, I don't know, better decision making, I don't know. I'll just pray for y'all, and I'd just like to bring this to your attention.
Andre, thank you. If you wouldn't mind, just put your I've got your name, but just put your phone number on there, and we'll get back to you.
I got a business card.
That's even better. It's even better. Thank you, Andre.
Thank you for your time, because I know y'all have busy schedules.
We'll be on it right away in the morning. Thank you. You bet. Yes. Thank you. Bless you too. Folks, anybody else want to engage the council? Welcome.
Mr. Mayor, Council, Robert Kolbe, Sioux Falls. I hope you haven't missed me too much. One of the things that, these are some random thoughts that have come to my mind. When the lady presented the prayer earlier, we commonly call it the Lord's Prayer, but that is a prayer that can be said by Jews, Christians, and Muslims together without any doctrinal difference. Think of that. And that's one of the few things that could take place with those three monotheistic religions. I've had a recent opportunity to do some travel, and once again, Mark Twain comes to mind when he says, "Travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness, and many of our people need it sorely on these accounts. Broad, wholesome, charitable views of men and things cannot be acquired by vegetating in one little corner of the earth all of one's lifetime." Having had some travel experience this recent past, it brings to mind that here we are in South Dakota with some of the most fertile land that we can have in the J, from Watertown down to Elk Point and over to Yankton. And what do we choose to do with it? We choose to build on it because the highest and best use of property is commercial property. We don't think about the long-term effects of its inability to produce after the fact. We raise lawn grass that doesn't do any good for anyone else. While gone, I did have a chance to read some of the things going on in the local newspaper, and brought to mind, okay, who do you represent? As a council, do you represent the people or your own particular agenda? As the chair of the council, do you represent the council or the mayor's office? And in the mayor's office, do you represent the people, or are you running for some other opportunity? What is your agenda? Now that everybody is playing nice again, it seems we're going to be building a building and you're all going to get your name on a little brass plaque. But a thing that happened in the county commission today means that you'll have an opportunity to get your name on another brass plaque, because they approved the sale of the property to build the archives building. Bob James and I worked on this, now it's getting toward 30 years ago, and both of us would like to see it completed before one of us tips over. When we were talking about the Native American Day coming up, I think what each of you should do is try to take a look at the doctrine of discovery and do what you can to revert that, or to disqualify it, or to get it off the books, because that's done more harm to North America and South America than anything that we have had happen to us in the last 500 years. Oh, by the way, the barricade up at the monument up on the Pioneer Monument up on the hill, it's still bent, needs replacing. I think I mentioned that 4 years ago. And as I was coming in, I saw this guy with a long beard. He was trying to corral a pair of cats, a pair of dogs, a couple of beaver, a couple of muskrats. So be ye forewarned, it may be a long, long rainy season. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. Welcome.
Scott Ehrisman, Sioux Falls. I was watching the informational today, and it just doesn't surprise me how these things work. And they're proposing an ordinance to give the garbage haulers to get a bond. Now, it's not such a bad idea in itself, but the reason they want to do it is because in case one of the garbage haulers can't pay their fees, they have something to fall back on. Well, of course, the garbage haulers get bonds. That's going to be passed on to the consumer, us. And I started thinking about this, and I was like, wait a minute. Why are we requiring the garbage companies to get bonds because of not paying fees and passing it on to consumers when the city was the one that didn't bother checking their books, and they let a guy not pay $250,000 in garbage hauler fees? So as I understand it, The city screws up, doesn't figure out their accounting at the landfill, and then so their solution is to charge the consumers more. Something's not right there. I hope you guys defer this and look further into it, because that's just a slap in the face. Speaking of that, we have another situation. We raised water rates recently, and sewer rates and electric rates, because, gosh darn it, we need to spend $20 million for Foundation Park. And what was that based on? A letter of intent. Government cannot run like business, and I'm going to tell you why. We're not in the land speculation business. I'm not, at least. I don't pay my taxes to speculate whether or not the Development Foundation is going to sell land. The council that approved that and the people in city and state government that approved that, they should be ashamed of themselves. Didn't anyone think to get Slater Barr in a room and say, do we have actual purchase orders signed? So we're going to put in $20 million worth of infrastructure. And on top of that, we had to annex the land. Didn't anybody raise their hand and say, can we see a purchase agreement? Nobody? And once again, passed on to the consumers and our water rates so that we can be in the land speculation business. And hopefully this will be the last time I talk about my next subject. It's about stamps and why stamps are important. I printed this out today. This is I won't say who the candidate is, but this is a financial disclosure statement from the last election. And it was stamped by the city clerk's office and signed, and it had a little thing up here, and it was filed about 7 days later. And the reason it was probably filed about 7 days later when you look it over is because the city clerk's office actually reviewed the form before they filed it officially. Can you believe that? Because their stamp is on it. Now, who screwed up the oath on the petition this last time? Bruce Danielson did. He's admitted to it. It is his fault completely. But why are we stamping things in the city clerk's office and not bothering to look at them? Why? What's the point? Why should we have to bring petitions to the city clerk's office for him to stamp it if he's not going to look at it? Maybe not the next, maybe he could have looked at it the next day. So you mean to tell me he stamped this petition form, didn't look at it, and then didn't look at it again until they were all turned in? Nobody looked at it. None of the assistant clerks looked at it. None of the city staff looked at it. Nobody looked at it until the day it was turned in. So what's the point in having a stamp? To feel important? I'm the city clerk. I stamped it. It's good. I'm telling you something. As citizens, when we put petitions together, we do this on our own time and volunteer, and whatever that is. But we pay city employees, and we pay the city clerk $90,000 a year. And I would hope that paying someone that much money and having a staff with him, they would take this stamp very seriously. Because basically what they're saying is, I could have brought in my grandma's recipe for watermelon wine, and they would have stamped it as a petition. Thank you.
David?
There we go. Greetings. My name is David Sokaitis, and here it's kind of a repeat performance tonight. I gave this talk to the old city council, but now we have a new city council, so it's time to do it one more time. It's a little more detailed than it was before, a little bit updated, but pretty much the same idea. All right. We have police. They investigate weird things. And they can do that nicely. I mean, it is humanly possible. So 30 years ago, city of Rochester, I had this machete, swinging it like crazy, branches flying everywhere. It's great for trimming branches. I mean, it's quick, it's fast, it's athletic. I love it. Anyway, so when I was doing that, a police officer drove by really slow, left me alone. So apparently he was investigating this unusual activity, but he did that nicely. Never even said hi. All right, so in Sioux Falls, something related but different happened. I was trimming branches, and my machete was in the car before any police showed up. All right, so I don't see how they had, like, they didn't have any reasonable suspicion to detain me because, like, nothing was going on. But anyway, if you're detained by police, they're supposed to have some level of suspicion. I mean, that's what the court has ruled. It's Terry versus Ohio, you can check it out. And if cops deprive you of your liberty without suspicion, hey, you know, that's a crime, deprivation of liberty. And when four of them are, like, kind of threatening, I would think they're there to terrify people, and that's just not very nice. That's not necessary. Okay, and one of the guys commanded me to sit on the ground. I think he was just being a jerk, egomaniac. There's no point to it. If he didn't have the legal authority to detain me in the first place, he certainly didn't have the legal authority to tell me to sit on the ground. All right, and then if you're surrounded, say, by four bikers looking kind of mean, one of them grabs your arm, a reasonable person might be in fear of their life. Well, you know, cops they're people, and sometimes they beat people up for no good cause, and four cops, one of them tried to grab my arm. That is assault. Action is designed to promote fear of imminent bodily harm. No doubt, if I pushed the guy back, I don't think I'd be here today. You'd either be in a jail or a hospital or a morgue. Not good. But anyway, you know, that stuff's not supposed to happen. Okay, and I reported this event. Everybody I could think of. City officials, state officials, federal officials. Check out the big list. A lot of people. I was here. Okay. And this is the official response. It's a mathematical symbol meaning empty set. Official response, I guess it didn't happen. I was hallucinating that day, and my memory is all fictitious. Didn't happen. But let's try to dig a little bit deeper, try to figure out what the motivation is for this kind of event. I've talked to police officers before, and my golly, they seem to be afraid. I don't know what of, but they're terrified. It's the culture of fear we're living in. And I've also noticed that police have zero accountability. I've seen reports where, you know, cops do bad stuff, keep their job, don't get arrested, can't sue them, no accountability. What the heck, you know? Have a good time. And then let's go on and dig a little bit deeper. Oh, and we noticed that effectively our government condones police violence. What other conclusion would a reasonable man make? Bad things happen, you report it to many people, nobody cares. I guess it's okay. Government condones police violence. Okay, so now this is where it really gets difficult for all of us. Why does this happen? Well, I'm trying to figure that out. You know, I'm a reasonable man. I like to think and ponder, collect evidence. What is the political motivation? I think one problem is that the people that on this list a few pages back, all those people, when they ignore a crime, there is no personal nasty stuff that occurs. Nobody goes to jail, nobody gets sued, no accountability. It's pretty cool. Well, or really bad. Anyway, kind of what's going on is that I don't have any political value. I think that's a problem, and I think we need to fix it. But I should
David,
also,
thank you, David.
all right.
Have a good night. Folks, is there anybody else who wanted to engage the council? Welcome.
Well, good evening on this rainy night, but it's good to be here. My name is Kermit Staggers. I am a citizen of Sioux Falls, and the reason I'm here tonight is to thank everybody who supported the citizen initiative to have an election to vote on the $25 million government administration building. Really, the primary motivator behind this was Bruce Danielson, who deserves a lot of credit for this, because he was able to get 122 people to circulate petitions, which is really incredible. If you've ever been involved in petition drives before. And guess how many signatures they obtained? They obtained 164,000 signatures of people who wanted to have the citizens vote on whether to have an election for the new administration building. Now, it's important to keep in mind that enough signatures were obtained. Well, then what's going on here? Why aren't we having the election? The reason is, ultimately, even though enough signatures were obtained, there was some technical problems with the form of the petitions. So because of that, we're not having any election. However, we are having new bonding taking place. And with new bonding means new debt for the city of Sioux Falls. So as a result of not allowing the citizens to vote whether they want to bond this or not, we're automatically going to have new debt. And before coming to the meeting tonight, I didn't have a chance, but I think it's going to be around, we're going to have a total of about $400,000, $400 million in city debt. So, but once again, this is simply a thank you to everybody that supported the initiative drive, and many of you in this room signed these petitions too. Thank you.
Councilor Staggers, thank you as well. Appreciate it. Folks, anybody else want to engage the council? Welcome.
Bruce Danielson. I really wasn't going to speak tonight, but since the others got up and spoke about our recently passed petition drive, I thought I'd just come up and thank Kermit and thank all the people of Sioux Falls for all the work that they did. The few members of the council who stuck with us, we really appreciate the hard decision you made to keep going with us. The others who didn't go with us, you know, we'll have to work on that and see what else we can do. The thing that disturbed us right from the beginning in this whole process was the 27th of July, when the city clerk's office, under whatever orders came down on the 27th, so that on the 28th, when we needed help and the city's new website turned to crap and it didn't work, and we couldn't find the petition. I went out and I accidentally got the wrong petition form and worked with it. And you know, the $67,000 that you all authorized to spend on a website, and it's been a complete failure ever since. And everything that we've done, in the things that we did with the petition drive, the things we did beforehand, the things that have been involved since its supposedly perfect design and implementation, has been an abysmal failure. And it's really disappointing to a lot of us that have actually been trying to get things done, and we can't find things yet. So, okay, I got the wrong petition form. I've admitted that I did that. But I'm so proud of the over 6,400 people who signed it. As Kermit just said, the 122 people that went out and actually circulated the petitions, the massive numbers of people who have been calling us and writing us and making all the comments about how they really wanted to be able to vote on this. And all I can say is this body failed the city of Sioux Falls tremendously, and this government of Sioux Falls failed its people miserably by not allowing any kind of a vote on this building. Thank you.
Welcome.
Sierra, Sioux Falls. I want to address Chairman.
Sierra, could you just give us your last name too, please?
Sierra Broussard.
Thank you.
I want to go to Rex Rolfing here. Mr. Hernandez, there's no dress code policy on not wearing a hat here, so every day that I'm in here, I'm going to wear a hat, and I'm not taking it off. We cannot be making up our rules and our regulations in government here. Pat Starr, I give you credit for going to the courthouse and showing your appearance there. I got a council member that said that they would put it up to input meeting. You know your rules and your regulations of that. I was for the administrative building to not to do it, okay? But when I did the petition drive and wanted to do the petition drive for the motel and the hotels, I went to the clerk, got the correct forms that I need, and the instructions of it, okay? So therefore, if Bruce messed up on it, it is not for council members to bend rules and regulations. That's not how we make our government work, okay? So I hope that there's no hard feelings of what I'm saying here. Pat, we have talked about the administrative building. Y'all know how it is worded in the law. It's very vague, how it is with the city clerk stamping these types of forms here, okay? It should be a closed case. The judge ruled on it. We cannot go no further. Nobody can go to no Supreme Court on this. It is what it is. Mayor, I know you had a battle on this fight. I'm not going to pull sides on this, but you have to go according to the law. You have to go, there's rules and regulations set on petitions, okay? And that's all I'm going to say about this. But do not tell people that they cannot wear a hat. It's not in the charter, it's not in the rules, and it makes me upset about it. So I advise Mr. Hernandez to put back his hat on and have people to come up in here and put their hats back on.
Okay. Did anybody else want to speak tonight? I think we've had quite the variety of topics tonight. I think the most variety I've ever had since I've been the mayor. Anybody else? Very good. Very good. Well, thank you. I will now move on to item 24.
Y'all come back now. Here.
What kind of morons run this outfit?